So students, now we will take this case of LC oscillation, where what happens whenever any capacitor is attached with inductor and there is no resistor in the circuit. Normal RL circuit we have done, the time varying current and voltage that we have seen in the last class. LC oscillation क्या होता है? For that we will see in detail. Correct. Here energy will oscillate between capacitor as electrostatic energy and then into inductor as a magnetic energy. Again it will go back to capacitor and from capacitor again it will come back to inductor. So this energy oscillates as electric energy and magnetic energy between these two instruments, that is inductor and capacitor, and this process is called LC oscillation. So that thing we can do, this LC oscillation. LC oscillation. So what we find here, just see, any capacitor, fully charged capacitor is attached to an inductor. This is the fully charged capacitor. It is attached to an inductor. Just see, capacitor is having the capacitance C. The charge here is positive and here this charge is negative. Initially the charge was say capital Q. It can go from capital Q to small q to 0 and inductance is L here. Correct. Now once the fully charged capacitor at t is equal to, this is at t is equal to 0, I can assume the charge Q is capital Q. So total energy initially is electrostatic energy and that will be your Q square by 2C. This is the energy stored in the capacitor. Once it is attached to this inductor and energy is allowed to flow, the energy will be flowing through this arrangement. So this will be the positive and this is the negative. If I apply the loop rule, we can see the loop rule will go like this. At any instant, if I say it is not the 0, other value, there the for time t charge will be Q and current flowing in the circuit will be I. I can apply the loop rule condition. So what I will say, it is going from minus to plus, so it is Q by C, and here it is going from plus to minus L into di by dt. This term we can see. So this is the loop rule for this arrangement and this value will get to be 0. Correct. This thing we can see. Further, if I go, I will say that Q by C is equal to L times di by dt. This arrangement we can make. Q by C is equal to L times di by dt. Now, I will try to express this current in terms of charge flow. I can also say that, just see, it is L d by dt of I. What is I? I is minus dq by dt. Why it is minus dq by dt? Just see, why this I is minus dq by dt? Because with time increase, why this minus sign? Because for the time increase, charge will decrease in the capacitor. Initially, if you see, with the time increase, charge will decrease. Hence, I am putting this minus sign and it is Q by C. Further, I will say what it is, d2q by dt square, rate of flow of charge, and this value will be minus q upon LC. This arrangement we can make. Correct. Further, I will say that minus 1 upon LC times q. This is the value of charge flow and this condition. What you relate? The double differentiation of charge with time is minus of the charge itself. So this expression is quite similar to, if you see, d2x by dt square equal to minus omega square x, and that is the equation of SHM we are knowing. It's the equation of SHM. So we can say this energy stored in the capacitor will be following oscillation with the condition of SHM, and this is the standard result. Correct. So this is standard result we can see for SHM. ये रिजल्ट हम लोग यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं. करेक्ट. SHM value we can get. Oscillation and time period we can see. Further, if I see here omega square, if you get omega square is 1 upon LC. Okay. So accordingly, I can put the value of omega, it is 1 upon under root of LC. This thing we have. Okay. So once we have the omega value, I can find out the time period of this oscillation. So this time period also I can write, time period is 2 pi by omega, 2 pi by omega. Correct. and this omega square is 1 by LC. So I got this result. So for time period, the result I can apply. Getting it? And angular frequency we can have. Further from this result, what I have? I can get the frequency of oscillation and everything. What will happen? In 1/4 of time period, if you see, in 1/4 of time period, total charge from this it is going, charge flow will go into the inductor. If I go on the next page, what I will say, this charge flow Q is written as minus omega square, this value charge flow. If I am saying here the value of charge here in this circuit, what I got, d2q by dt square, that is equal to minus omega square into q. This thing we have got, correct? d2q by dt square is minus omega square into q. This value we had, and this q term I can say minus omega square, q we had, and omega square term it was 1 upon LC. This result also we are making. Omega square is 1 by LC and omega turned out to be 1 by under root of LC. Correct? This thing we have. Now, this term, what I will say, this d2q by dt square I will write, it is minus omega square u. This is the standard equation of SHM. I am again writing on this page just to have the confirmation. d2q by dt square is minus omega square q. For charge पे we not put this vector, simply the value. So omega square once we have an omega result, so time period I was saying it is 2 pi by omega, it is under root of LC. Getting it? So this is the value of time period. From here I can also find out the frequency of oscillation. Frequency is 1 upon time period and this value is 1 upon 2 pi under root of LC. This result we have. Getting it? All these results we can see frequency and time period. Now, if I see the value of SHM, what we relate, it will be the following the sinusoidal result. What it was, say Q is equal to, I will say capital Q into cos omega t. This will the result of charge flowing in the circuit. For the charge flowing in the circuit, Q will be varying like this. Because why cos function? Because at t is equal to 0, this Q was getting maximum value and this is capital Q. So I am following this function. So this result for charge flow in the circuit we can get. So what it is? For t is equal to 0, charge flow here is maximum. Correct. I cannot put it as sine function because at t is equal to 0, charge is maximum. This result will be followed, and further what I will say, this small q is equal to capital Q times cos of omega is 1 upon under root of LC into t. This result we have for the charge flow. Now from the same result I can get the current flow in the circuit also. I will be minus dq by dt. This term you can write minus dq by dt. If I write this, what I will get? Q into omega, and this cos omega t is called, defined as sin omega t. This term also will get Q into omega is the maximum value of current flow in the circuit. So I is this term. Current flow will be following the sine function and charge will be going for the cos function. This result we can see. Okay. Once we have the value of charge and current flow, we can draw their graph also. They following the condition of SHM. Correct. So further, what I will say, the capacitor having the charge Q is getting its energy converted into inductor. Capacitor having charge Q is getting energy into inductor, and this value, initially what I am saying, the charge is flowing for 1/4 of time period. If I say 0 to t by 4, this charge or energy, U electrostatic energy, will start converting into U-matic energy. Correct. Electrostatic to matic energy will happen because for the 1/4 of time period, cos omega t tending towards omega into t, once it goes to the pi by 2 value for t is equal to t by 4, your energy UE will get fully convert into magnetic energy. Correct. Now once this energy is into inductor for plus or minus this energy inductor, by the inertia of motion of the charges it will continue forward. What next I will say? In t by 4 time period to t by 2 time period, what will happen? The magnetic energy stored, U magnetic energy for the maximum value, it will get converted into capacitor. It will go into the capacitor. What will happen? It will go into the capacitor's electrostatic energy. In this case, what you will see? It is coming this way. Going that to polarity will get reversed. It will get positive and this side will get negative. Correct. It happens this. Next, what you will see? In t by 2 to 3t by 4. Again, what will happen? In t by 2 to 3t by 4, this capacitor gets the fully charged and from there it will go back, it will come back. So this thing will happen. So what will be the reverse polarity? This UE will start convert into U magnetic. This will get convert into U magnetic. The stored electrostatic energy will convert into magnetic energy here. Again, once it is coming here, again the polarity will get reverse and it will reach here. So I will say that 3t by 4 to t value, what will happen? U magnetic will convert into U electrostatic and finally the capacitor will come to its initial position. So in one complete oscillation, the energy is going from capacitor to inductor, and this is quite similar to the spring block arrangement. I can see it is also as in form of spring block arrangement. If I say कि any fully charged capacitor, any extended this spring block arrangement with mass m and having the charge q, I say the stretched spring have the energy. So U potential energy of the spring, potential energy of spring, it is half k x square. It's quite similar to q square by 2c. Correct, for any value. Potential energy of capacitor, it is this. Finally, it converts into kinetic energy. It is half mv square, which is quite similar to half L I square. How the energy gets converted from spring stored potential energy to kinetic energy of the block? The same pattern happens here. How so? Because x is the compression extension. Here the charge q. X is corresponding to the charge q. Dx by dt will show for the velocity. So dq by dt will show for the current. So they are quite related. So how the system oscillation happens and the displacement of energy for a spring block, you just compare them, the electrostatic energy with the capacitor energy, with the spring energy half kx square, and kinetic energy of the block with magnetic energy half Li square. We can simply correlate and get all the results done. Getting it? So ये formation we can make and all the results can be obtained. Anywhere we can see the charge flow or energy I have told you, correct? And the standard equation what it was, Q is equal to capital Q times cos omega t. This term we can do. Okay, we can relate, we can get a question also on the same. If I say any arrangement what I have, suppose here I say the capacitance C value is 10 to the power minus 6 farad value is given, and this result inductance is, if I say it is 10 to the power minus 4 Henry, this term is given. For any inductor capacitor arrangement, this arrangement can be produced and it is attached to a circuit like this. Okay, if I have these values, what is omega? Omega is 1 upon under root of LC. This term we can get, and further if you see the result is how much? This value will be 1 upon under root of it is 10 is power minus 10. Correct. So the value of omega from here we can see the value will be 10 to the power 5 radian per second. This value will be the omega. Now if I say the charge voltage here was, this voltage was, suppose it is 100 volt supply, it was initially charged. So we can say the initial charge Q will be C into V, and this value I can say it is here 10 is power minus 4 coulomb, or I can say 100 microcoulomb is the charge, initial charge on the capacitor. The initial charge on the capacitor is 100 microcoulomb. This value we have, and if it is arrangement is happening this way, the positive minus, and this result is here. If it is asked what is the charge, and when the charge is getting value something like that, if I say result is like this, radian is omega is this way, and I have to see the time when the charge Q on the capacitor, it is becoming say 50 microcoulomb. Say charge is becoming 50 microcoulomb. So how do we get this condition? Charge is 50 microcoulomb. So what will say? 50 is equal to 100 into cos omega t. This result I can put. So I will get it as 1 by 2. It is equal to cos omega t. So I know the corresponding value of this term will be cos pi by 3, because cos 60 degree is half. Cos pi by 3 will give it this result. So I can say pi by 3, this pi by 3 value will be equal to omega into t, and omega what we have, this 10 power 5, so 10 power 5 into t. I can get the value of time when this will happen. The corresponding value of charge flow I can get, and once I have the value of charge flow here, time I am getting, I can also get the value of current flow in the circuit. And for the current flow, what the equation I will write, I will be equal to I naught into sine pi by 3, because for the same time I can get the current flow in the circuit, correct? So this value we can put I is equal to I naught into sine omega t. So I can say this value I naught, and sine pi by 3 is root 3 by 2. So this is the result for oscillation. So in the LC oscillation, how the charge is getting converted into magnetic energy, and at what time the energy will be how much for the electrostatic or magnetic, every information can be obtained. And basic governing equation is that it is following the condition of SHM. With the SHM condition, spring block arrangement, we can get the correlated terms for its motion. So this was for LC oscillation, how we relate the charge, current and energy following the condition of SHM. Thank you.